and so on. And the mistake that materialists made after his time was in crediting him with saying more than he ever said. All he was talking about was, that's the way society functions, that's the way the physical universe functions, but he didn't say that's where the universe came from. He didn't say, for example, that because of the opposite between fullness and emptiness, there had to be something. And so he didn't say that. The dialectic, the idea of opposing things, is also part of the religion Taoism, never does say this is how we explain the metaphysical realities, the things outside the universe. They only say this is how we explain the universe, that there are always things that sway left or right. There are always opposing forces that bring about new items and they generate their counterparts and so on. But you're only talking about the physical universe. And what the Taoists even realized, thousands of years before the logicians discovered it, was that if you make such assumptions, that you have a system which functions because it's all interdependent and it generates things of itself and it carries on, you have to make the assumption that there is one item just outside that system, or this system won't make any sense. It's the same as or similar to a glass blower when he blows say you want to make a ball out of glass, and he blows this thing. Well, when he finishes, he leaves a little dimple on the end of the ball when he pulls it off the end of the tube, you see, because it's not possible to build this self-contained thing without reference to something outside it, and you have a singularity someplace. And that's all I'm driving at, that we have to live with the world the way it is, acknowledging that there is a singularity, there is a point of reference, that the universe does make sense, there is an absolute that I have to come to grips with, that I cannot confidently think the universe makes good sense to me, and when I die, that's the end of me. I don't have to make an accounting of anything. You can't be sure of that if you realize that the universe making sense means there is an absolute. There is something I don't know about. Maybe I should worry about what is my course of conduct. I'm just saying there are things we don't know, so we should be interested in finding out what is the best thing for me to do. I'm saying that you see, the scientist wants to rationalize, some of them do, want to rationalize enough to say, well, the universe is something we can explain the whole thing. So I don't answer to anyone because everything's explainable. But what I'm trying to point out is that the fallacy in that is, by saying that we can explain a whole universe, they are acknowledging, well, there is one thing we can't explain that is outside the universe. There's something that should be on their mind to think there's something beyond what I do that I may have to answer for someday. Maybe not. But the point is there is something he should be concerned about. Whereas a man might like to say, what I know is I can get away with a lot of things. And as long as I can keep getting away with them, I'm going to do them. But the man who realizes, well, you can't be certain that that's a good course of action because the universe doesn't fit into your little bag. There's more to it than you appreciate. So don't think that you are the one in charge, that you can set the arbitrary rules of conduct. You should be interested in what are the good rules of conduct. Somebody had a hand up over there. I don't go back here where we can hear you.
You've been saying that the person will be punished by his sins, not because of his sins. What about the punishment that may follow after he does his sin or perform it, as cutting the hand of the thief in Islam?
Yeah,
Would it be the second punishment?
No. You are still punished by your sin in a sense that this is not to say, as some people might extend the argument and say, well, if every man is punished by his sins, then we should just let the sinners go on the sinning. They'll suffer for it. If you don't punish the sinners yourself, if the community doesn't take some kind of an action to lock away the dangerous people and so on, the community becomes guilty of sin because they are leaving something harmful in their environment, and pretty soon it's going to harm them. You see, so they will suffer for their sins. You see, if a man steals and you think, well, he'll suffer for that, and you don't do anything about it, if you're in a position to do something about it, you let him go on stealing, sooner or later he's going to steal from you, you see, in which case you are now suffering for the sin of not having done something about that man in the first place, you see. Man plays a certain part in that balance, that the man who kills has to make amends for it. The man who steals has to be prevented from stealing, and so on. The obligation is also on the community who harmed him, or they are guilty of sinning. But that is interesting. The other point that maybe you're mentioning that is true. In Islam, it's believed that if a man is punished for his sins here, that he doesn't have some other punishment waiting for him someplace. In effect, whatever would be you talk of the cutting of the hand, which is a very extreme measure and has had very limited application, but should that be the case, a man could be a terrible thief, and if he lost a hand for that, he might even present himself to the court to say, look what I've done over the years. I deserve all the punishment coming to me. They cut his hand off. The Muslim doesn't believe he has any other punishment ever coming to him. In some future life or something, he's not going to be tortured for it. He made amends for it. That was it right there.
Any more questions?
Maybe I'm a bit confused, but I put it to you. Maybe you can unravel it. Just extending your thoughts. God rewards the good or evil. Now, in the first surah, you follow the path of good people, you will be rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
By, again, a theory that would be then people who don't do, they will be punished.
Yes.
Opposite side.
Yes.
Again, if you take the connotation of reward as blessings, blessings mean materials, other than the peaceful, spiritual thing. And when we look around, we don't find that compliance that. There's a contradiction there.
Yeah, that's not generally what you're saying, that when a man does good, he's not instantly rewarded. When a man does bad, he's not immediately punished.
Even you prolong over the period of time,
Yeah.
instant, anything more than instant is period. We don't see that thing. There's some contradiction here.
Not really. But what you don't see, in fact, in other places, the Quran warns you not to be misled by exactly that you see the wicked prosper, don't let that fool you. That they're not really prospering. What one is assured of is that the system that we live in is functioning according to natural laws, and those things which are wrong or harmful go against the flow of natural things. They have repercussions somewhere in the future. Somebody does wrong. I believe that when somebody does something wrong, it has repercussions. It disturbed the natural flow of events. At some point, what a man did that was wrong has the effect that it comes back on him. The Quran talks about the judgment day, and what it says is that a man is going to see his own record of what he did. He's going to look up and see himself surrounded with the things that he did that were wrong. That's his punishment. He has coming back on him the wrong that he did. It's something like, I suppose, if you hit somebody to hurt somebody, and or you take a swing at somebody and they duck and your fist hits the wall, that's an instant repercussion for something you did wrong. It came back on you. In a broader sense, maybe you get away with hitting him, but what course of action did he take as a result of being hit? What other things happened in the flow of time that proceed down the line that are waiting for him someday in the resurrection? You see, because usually many Muslims, as well as Jews, Christians, they have this idea that the resurrection or heaven or something, it's where a man is going to be sailing away and sitting on a cloud and playing a harp and just feeling wonderful all the time. You see, and that isn't what it's all about. Both the Bible, both the Quran say in several places